Today we're going to be talking about fruit roll-ups, an easy, fast, delicious, and nutritious snack for either your children or for you. We're going to make fruit leather, which is the same thing as fruit roll-up, but with all the nutrition still intact. So we're going to be using a blender to make it and a dehydrator to dehydrate it. The reason we're using a dehydrator and not an oven is to preserve all of the nutrition. So a dehydrator is two components. It is a fan to blow air over your food to dry it out, and a heating element to make sure that the air is warm enough to dry it even faster. So a dehydrator, there are many different ones to buy. You can go as inexpensive as $30 or $40 at Walmart or Target or a department store, or you can get this wonderful beast. This is an Excalibur 9-tray dehydrator. This is the creme de la creme if you're looking to have something that lasts you 30 years but are willing to pay the money for it. This is the one to go with. It helps if the fan is in the back, dehydrating over all of your trays all at once. With a lot of round dehydrators, the less expensive ones, you have the dehydrator or the fan usually on the bottom or on the top. When the fan is on the top or the bottom, whatever trays are closest to the fan get dehydrated very well, but the trays that are further away from the fan don't. So you have to continually shift the trays so that they all have even drying time, which is very involved. And if you're not good at remembering things like that, a lot of your food doesn't dehydrate well, and some of it dehydrates a little too fast for your liking. So Excaliburs are wonderful because the fan is in the back and it dehydrates over all of the food at once. So this dehydrator has a front plate which comes off. So you can have all 9 trays in, or you can have a couple trays out if you like. So if you have a very large item, say you want to make one big fat cookie, which is kind of fun, you can put it in there and take the tray out on top so it'll fit. A lot of other dehydrators, you have to have all trays in at the same time. So this dehydrator is wonderful because you can pick and choose how many trays you want in at one time. And the last thing I want to talk about are nonstick sheets. So your dehydrator trays, no matter what kind you get, come with the tray and the plastic mesh. So the plastic mesh is wonderful. This is good for jerky if you want to dehydrate pieces of fruit, but anything that's liquidy, so the fruit leather we're about to make, or crackers, or granola, or anything that might seep through the plastic mesh, you're going to need some sort of liner to go in between. These are wonderful. They're non-stick, so they peel off of your food very easily, and you rinse and reuse them. So if you have the option, I always recommend you want these. You really do. So that are the main components of having a dehydrator. Now, why do we dehydrate instead of baking? So you can use your oven, but the oven only has heat. It does not have moving air, so it will not dry your food. It will bake your food. So at about 108 degrees, you start to lose nutrition. You start to lose vitamins like C and K and A. You start to lose minerals like magnesium or iron or calcium. And you start to lose enzymes. Enzymes are present in your food that help break it down. It's part of the ripening or rotting process. But it also helps you to break down food inside your body as well. So you want your food to have enzymes in it. It's a lot less work for your body to do. If you do not have enzymes in your food and your body has to break it all down on its own, it takes a lot longer for your body to digest, and it takes away from time that your body should be doing other things. So you want your food to have enzymes in it. But at 108 degrees, you start to lose all of those. 10 degrees more, just 10, at 118 degrees, you've lost 80% of your vitamins and your minerals and almost all of your enzymes. So we literally are cooking all of the nutrition that our bodies desperately need out of our food. So dehydrators help us to get the textures we want, so crackers, breads, fruit leather, but still maintain all of the nutrition that's already present in our food. Whenever I dehydrate at 105 degrees. Keep it very simple, 105, no nutrition lost. So I make sure that my dial on the dehydrator is set at 105. Make sure that your dehydrator has a setting like this. It could be digital as well. But if it does not have a dial, chances are it dehydrates probably closer to 200 degrees. Those are more like jerky dryers. So we're going to make fruit leather. Fruit leather is so easy. The base for my fruit leather are always pears. Pears are ridiculously sweet when they're ripe. They're wonderfully soft, so they're easy to blend. And they're fairly neutral in taste. You don't taste the pear taste as much as you might think. And their gritty nature is actually a wonderful binder. It helps to keep the fruit leather together. So whenever I'm making any type, whether it's strawberry like today, or blueberry, or apple, or fill in the blank, I use pears as my base. And then the other ingredient are strawberries. We're gonna make strawberry fruit leather, 2 ingredients, super easy. In fact, you just take your pears. I'm using 3 pears, Bartlett's. They are the sweetest. And then I'm taking half a package of strawberries. If you notice, I'm not taking the green tops off if they're organic. They're good for you. And if you have a good blender, like a Vitamix or a Blendtec, you won't even notice them. And that's it. We're not going to be adding any water or ice or anything. You're just blending the fruit together. So the Vitamix is wonderful because it has this wonderful thing called a tamper that helps to push everything into the blade. So this takes all of but 90 seconds to finish. Once it's well blended, nice and smooth, no specks floating around, it's perfect timing. So then you take your blender. So this batch, so we've got half a container of strawberries and 3 pears, makes enough for 2 of my trays. These are the 9-tray Excalibur. They're 12 inches by 12 inches squares, so it makes 2 of these. So I'm going to break it up into 2 little batches. One here and one here. I'm just gonna, there we go, divvy it up. And then you just want to spread it around until it covers the entire tray. So there's 2 ways. You could just spread it around until it's nice and big. Try to even it out so it's all around the same thickness. A rubber spatula comes in handy at this time. One of my favorite ways to actually spread it around is to push it into each corner. So you push a little here, push a little here, push a little here, push a little here, and then just fill in the gaps. Now the fun thing about this is that a lot of times if my kids are around while I'm making this, it never becomes fruit leather because this sauce is unbelievably delicious by itself. You can just pour it into a bowl and serve it to your kids. And it's just pears and strawberries, and it's delicious and it's amazing. But who doesn't like to eat their food in new and fun, interesting ways? So once it is thinned out as much as you can without it being too thin, now every so often I thin it out a little too much and it dries a little less even. In fact, I'll show you what it looks like. So then you're finished with this, and you take your dehydrator and you're just gonna pop it in. Now the fun thing about the 9-tray is you can make 9 trays of fruit leather all at one time. And when it's done, at 105 degrees, 6 hours later, which for dehydrating is really quite fast, you end up with this. So this, you can see where I spread it a little too thin right here and a little too thin right here, and it evaporated and left cracks. That's okay. It's still delicious. So it should just peel right off of your dehydrator sheet or your nonstick sheet. Now you can do one of 2 things. You can roll it up like so it's this little fruit roll that's delicious, or you can hand your children a pair of scissors and let them cut their own shapes out of their fruit leather. Say you want to make a heart. And then all of a sudden, instead of it just being food, now it's also an activity. And you have a wonderful, delicious, nutritious snack for your kids or for you. The wonderful thing about anything dehydrated is it doesn't need to be preserved. So you can put it in a baggie, throw it in your purse, take it with you, leave it in there for weeks, and it's still good. It's great for road trips. It's great to go on an airplane. You don't have to worry about it being under a certain ounce. So there you go. Fruit leather, strawberry fruit leather, delicious, easy, simple. Took 90 seconds in here, 6 hours in here, and before you know it, way cheaper than any fruit roll-up you buy in the store, and it's delicious and amazing, and I'll even make you jealous because I'm going to have some. So good. Go out and make some. It's unbelievable.